Markets Now is brought to you by the 5-year anniversary of Brevant Seeds. Here's to 5 years of not just winning, but collecting one game-changing W after another. See all of our wins at brevant.com/wins.
And welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook, joined by Joe Kooima with Kooima Varilek this morning. And we're seeing corn and soybeans higher. Cattle, wow, we'll talk about that. A gap lower opening this morning. We're mixed in the hogs. And let's start off talking about that gap lower opening in the cattle market. We've got some limit down moves in feeders. This is all about what the president said about lowering beef prices, isn't it?
Right. Yep. Thanks for having me on today. And it's a lot to unpack here in very short time. Basically, we don't have to go any further than the headline that Trump said. And this market is so engaged, whether you talk grains or cattle or anything else, that the AI traders, the algorithm traders, they just grab those headlines and they just find whatever market that is going to reflect, and they obviously trade it, with authority, basically. So that's the start that we have. There's a few other things in this economy that I think maybe Trump can try to cheapen up. Kids' shoes, baseball caps, maybe some insurances would probably make more sense than trying to lower beef here a little bit. Leave us alone. We don't want to be messed with, kind of a thing. But it's certainly taken its effect on the futures today. It's a day where you kind of just sit tight and drink some coffee and not overreact to a market that's maybe due for a correction. We always get something outside the box. It always makes it happen for sure, but pretty tough morning.
Yeah, definitely we were overbought. I think we were up, 10 days in a row in December live cattle, so certainly due for a correction here. I know it's just speculation, Joe, but let's talk about if you're going to rip the Band-Aid off and he says, hey, we're going to take care of beef prices and it's going to happen quickly. Basically, you're talking about something dealing with trade here, aren't we? Don't you think? Argentina
for sure.
beef coming in, what?
Yep. Argentina beef coming in. He met with their president the other day too. The hot topics would be the Brazilian beef tariff. Okay. That's the hot topic. The other hot topic would be, the border. And in true Trump fashion, once again, there's zero detail on it. So take your pick with it. We knew that there was going to be an announcement yesterday that Trump was going to talk about something in the afternoon. And I think we all maybe thought it was going to be, I don't know, I thought it was going to be something about soybeans, and to come back with something like this with the beef. So yeah, take your pick on what you think it is. I don't know. There hasn't been enough talk around this morning to really dial in exactly what it is. Maybe another thing could be all those cattle in Mexico got fed and got fat, and they're in a box somewhere. Is that Mexican beef making it into our into the U.S. too? I don't know. These are all don't take and run and go with these. These are all just theories, but I don't know yet. It's just not enough dialogue going on yet.
Well, and the reason that we point to Argentina was not only did the presidents meet this week, but we're looking at a $20 billion additional bailout package for their economy, their banking system, and their currency. Right. And so, wouldn't it be easy just to also maybe buy some beef from them or lift the quota or whatever?
Right. No, that's a great point too. And having, given them $20 billion isn't going to make a lot of farmers real happy up here. So maybe trying to balance things out a little bit too. It's what a rat race trying to figure out exactly what's going on in that man's maze of a head, basically. So
yeah, I like your theory about bringing Mexican beef in, though. That also makes a lot of sense to me. I don't think we're going to reopen the border, though, here in terms of imports, especially when you got New World screwworm as close as it is, right?
Right. And it can, I don't like to jump into it, but there's definitely probably some political posturing going on down there in Mexico. I don't know if they don't necessarily want it open, but then you look at Texas and Oklahoma, they want it open. And so I think they can be kind of messy with that situation too. And I don't really like to dive into that too much, but I think there's a lot of politics going on with that as well.
Absolutely. We've talked about that off air several times. Okay, so we have totally lost the whole positive part of the market, which is we had Northern Fed cash trade yesterday. That was actually higher, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, we were $5 higher here in the north on some 240 type stuff, which is encouraging. And it should be. We should have a market that we can reach up to that level there as well. Supply is still tight. The weights are a little bit of an issue, but when you have a supply as tight as what we are, that's fair game right now. So encouraging to see the cash market up $5, kind of a basis adjustment a little bit, because 240 felt good yesterday. Then you look at the October board and you're like 244. It's like, dang, we should be historically maybe just $1 or $2 under that price there. The South is starting to get some bids today. Yesterday, they had some 235 bids, which would have been steady with last week, and totally just a gut check of why they even attempt to buy something at 235. But this morning, they're coming in at a bid at 240, and I haven't heard of any confirmation if anybody's taken that at all there. So you're talking about a good, strong market on the back of the futures market as well. So the fundamentals haven't changed up front here. There's panic on the screen, but when we look at the fundamentals, things are still pretty doggone good yet.
Well, and that's why we've been preaching risk management, right?
Right, because you wake up and you have this headline, you're like, what am I going to do? Sell feeders down $7? When I know Fort Pierre is really hot and some 1,000-weight heifers brought 338. I mean, it's just like, maybe dial it back just a little bit. And on days where there's not a whole lot going on and you can make sense of what you want to do for a marketing plan, that's a better strategy than trying to figure out what's going to happen here on an opening after literally just a headline changed the momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Fort Pierre, but there isn't any auction barn I've heard results from that haven't been on fire. So
right. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that has not changed. Okay, let's talk about the hog market. That's your specialty area. We've had a big correction here. We did a lot of technical damage. Are we close to finding support in that market?
We're close. The market is very oversold at this junction. Hogs are notorious, though, for ignoring when it's overbought or oversold. It's a highly trending kind of a marketplace there. This 85-cent number for February is kind of where I'm watching, and that'll kind of tell me if December is going to go lower or April and whatnot. So I'm just kind of using Feb as that line in the sand. So it's 85 cents is huge. I'm not sure what it's doing here right now. But the cash momentum is struggling big time. The index is getting sloppy and lower, but it does have a big, the index has a huge premium to where decent Feb are, but that's not uncommon for this time of year at all. Hog weights are like 6 pounds over a year ago. They're getting that new crop corn going in there, so they're big elephants right now. So our production is large for this time of year compared to especially what we went through the first couple quarters there on tighter supply. But we got the supply right now. It's still finding a good home. Our demand is there. It's just not as great, as what it can be with the amount of production coming at it. And the funds too, we can't exactly see where they're at. They had a record length before the government shut down when we could see those reports, but they had record length going into that hog and pig report. And as we all remember, had that hog and pig report on a Thursday. Friday, we went up a little bit, and that was the high point of the marketplace there. So since then, the open interest has come down about 30,000 contracts. And part of that is the October and expiration with that too. So there is evidence of the funds getting out, and with how tough that chart looks, I would think that they are liquidating, and that's part of these ugly days that we have a big down day as well.
Yeah, I peaked. February is just under 85. So that doesn't mean we're going to stay there, but you're getting a big discount now to the index. And so that's going to hold at some point, isn't it?
Right. We get too far away from it, and it's got the momentum down, so that's why we're seeing it just drop so easily. But I don't know exactly what too big of a discount is, especially in the hogs, because you can see wild numbers there. But this 85 is also like 62% retracement from that low we put in 4, 5, 6 months ago to the most recent high. So it's definitely an area of support here right now.
And finally, corn and soybeans are up. Corn got above some key technical objectives, including the 100-day moving average yesterday. Is this all technical, or what's driving it?
We're getting some technical stuff since we don't have a whole lot of government numbers to go off of necessarily, and it's kind of more just like phone calls, just talking to customers here that talk to customers that are in Eastern Iowa, out in Illinois, South Dakota, and the crop is good. It's okay, but we definitely overhyped things 10 weeks ago, 3 months ago, of how good it was going to be. So I think now that sometimes when you have a government shutdown like this, you get a little bit more talking what's going on, and that's just the general consensus. Good crop, overpromised. The bushels aren't going to be as high as what the government had said. And then you get, the funds are short a little bit on the corn, not a little bit. They're still short 100,000. They're kind of net neutral, maybe a little bit long on the soybeans. And you get a technical picture that looks better above some moving averages, a little bit of, quick momentum days like we are seeing right now. Those funds will kind of carry that as well, and maybe start getting out of some of their corn and maybe add to their length in the soybeans. Yeah,
and I think the soybean bulls are still thinking rhetoric maybe just a little bit better with China here today, so maybe that's part of it.
Yep, way better than what it was last week Friday. So they're going to meet in 2 weeks. So that's got the market going too.
All right, thanks so much, Joe Kooima with Kooima Varilek. That is Markets Now.
When you choose Brevant Seeds, you don't just win. You win so big, the very ground beneath your feet cries tears of joy. You win so big that second place feels like a participation trophy. You win so big, you might as well be harvesting buried treasure. Oh, sorry, just one more. When you choose Brevant Seeds, you don't just win. You hit the damn jackpot. Don't just win. Win. Talk with your retailer or visit Brevant.com/jackpot to get started.